and we're going to be talking about PEDs and steroids in Hollywood. This is a very controversial topic. There's been a lot of speculation, and it's kind of left up to interpretation from the viewers and fans of these films. So, are our favorite actors taking PEDs to get ready for roles that are physically demanding and focus on their physiques? Superhero roles, action roles, that kind of thing.
Right.
Quick disclaimer before we get into this. I'm not taking away from the hard work and dedication these actors put into their prep for the roles in these various films. I'm merely stating that some of their transformations that take place seem too incredible in such a short amount of time. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking away from these guys at all. So, let's get into it.
Sure.
So younger actors like Zac Efron for his transformation for Baywatch, these guys, you can conjure up the argument that they're natural because they have their age as an advantage.
Right.
Zac Efron's physique in Baywatch is incredible.
Oh, it's fucking insane.
It's incredible, and I think that is just a product of, one, he's not a very big guy to begin with.
No.
I think it's a product of 3 to 4 months of hardcore dieting with the best nutritionists, the best trainers, that the studio pays for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they probably threw a fat paycheck at him. It was like, you need to get in shape for this movie, and this is how much we're going to pay you to do it.
Right.
So the incentive is there. The tools and the resources are there. So I think I do not think Zac Efron took anything.
I don't think so at all.
In terms of steroids for Baywatch.
If you look back, even at like Neighbors, there's times where, he has the classic shirt off and everything. Like, he still looks good, and he's always had that very athletic
build.
Cut. Yeah, like a very built like that. And again, like, I don't think he's that big of a dude. Maybe like
no,
5'7",
he's
5'8".
not a big dude at all.
So I mean, he has to be at 150 to 160, I would imagine, to look like that.
Right.
So I mean, he probably already had a big foundation that he's been developing.
Right.
And then Baywatch came with The Rock.
Yeah.
Obviously, your expectations have to be, through the roof.
Right.
To be standing next to The Rock. So, yeah, I mean, he probably just hired a crazy team. I remember hearing that he, for 4 months didn't eat, any type of carbs at all. Which is insane.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I don't think he took anything. I mean, you can usually tell when especially younger guys too are taking stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But that's why we're having this topic, because it's in such a short period of time. You see a lot of these actors just come out of nowhere, come out of left field, just blow up, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and then you're wondering to yourself, how is that possible? How did they do it? When it comes, and people have to keep in mind too, when these actors go on screen, especially if it's focused around their physique, off camera, they're getting an unbelievable pump. They're getting some sort of tanning agent to make their muscles and veins pop, right? So before they even get on screen, they're prepping to look even better than if they were just sitting on the couch for a few hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I think that's a lot of people. That's where people misconstrued things. They take what they see on screen, and it's like they think he looks like that all the time.
Right.
But that's post-pump, post-tanning, post-makeup. He's supposed to look like that on screen.
Right.
Take it what it looks like off screen.
It's also, if you look at it like a bodybuilder or pro athlete or something, they're training for a specific time.
Right.
For specific, moment.
Right.
Where once that moment passes, you're not going to be eating that strict diet and stuff. It's impossible. You cannot maintain a diet like that for a full year or even 6 months, I think, personally.
Right.
I've never done it. I've never really been on a strict diet, weighing everything that I've done. Or sorry, everything that I've eaten. But yeah, I mean, there's no way that someone can just not eat carbs for a whole year. You know what I mean? It's just not possible.
No, 100%. And then if we're talking about natural transformations, Chris Pratt, I think, also had a natural transformation. He was a very heavy guy, and he just cut down for his role in Guardians of the Galaxy. His physique wasn't anything crazy. He looks great, but it wasn't anything where I was like, okay, this doesn't seem right. I think that transformation took 4 to 5 months. I think in 4 to 5 months from where he was to where he got, again, with the trainers and the nutritionist, that's easily attainable.
Yeah.
Easily attainable for a guy like that.
Again, you can look at his physique and it's not anything, beyond limits.
Right, exactly.
It's just very exceptional.
Exactly.
Work that he put in.
And I know Chris Pratt's history. Like, I know he played high school sports, and I don't know if he played in college, but he probably wasn't new to the gym or anything like that. But if you look at what his physique was like, he definitely wasn't going to the gym. So I think while he was cutting fat, he probably gained a little bit of muscle because he's experiencing the newbie gains. And newbie gains are for beginners who will cut fat and gain muscle at the same time. It's one of the only proven ways to gain muscle and cut fat at the same time. If you're a seasoned gym rat, I guess you could say, it's going to be a lot harder to gain muscle and cut fat. A lot harder.
Right.
Speaking of which, I want to talk about Kumail Nanjiani. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's a comedian, actor, and he just got ready for a role in the Eternals.
Yep, Marvel.
For Marvel.
Yep.
And if you look at the transformation this guy has made, he's a completely new man.
It's unbelievable.
And it's been
very motivating.
It's very motivating, but it's also very controversial because a lot of people have been talking and trying to, disprove his transformation, because it doesn't seem natural.
I mean, I remember when he came out with the reveal of it. I think he posted on his Instagram or something. And I remember he wrote how it took over a year of just, a work ethic that he's never done before.
Yep.
And a team around him that it was just completely different, lifestyle that he was not used to.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's unbelievable.
No,
100%. And how he looks.
But he did it in a year, and I think he definitely.
Year's a long time.
It's a long time, and he was new to the gym.
Right.
So again, he's cutting fat and gaining muscle. He's experiencing those newbie gains because he is new to the gym. I think his transformation was natural. I really do.
I do too.
And I think his genetic makeup just calls for a lower percentage. I don't think he was meant to hold a lot of fat in his body to begin with, because even before his transformation, I wouldn't say he was heavy or overweight. He had fat on him, but he was still like skinny.
Yeah, skinny fat.
Skinny fat, exactly. And he was I think his genetic makeup, he's not built to hold a lot of fat in his body.
Right.
So I do think Kumail's transformation was indeed natural, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Hugh Jackman, these actors who are in their 50s, but they're still making gains in the gym. Now, if you know a little bit about testosterone, once you get to that age, your testosterone levels decline drastically.
Right.
You can't put on muscle as easily. You can't lose fat as easily. Your metabolism slows down, and so on and so forth. So you look at Mark Wahlberg, Hugh Jackman. Now, these guys are not necessarily like super big. They're not like...
they're not bulky.
Right. But people have to understand that just because somebody is taking steroids doesn't mean they have to be a mass monster, right? There's different steroids for different purposes. There's cutting agents, bulking agents, some that do both, yada, yada, yada. But to be in your 50s and to still be shredded year-round, to look bigger for roles, and to put on muscle as easily as they do, it seems a little fishy to me. Now, I know Mark Wahlberg, Hugh Jackman, they live in the gym. They're just they go to the gym every day. They work out. They have home gyms. They're dedicated to their fitness and physiques. Okay, I get that. But when they're getting ready for a role like Mark Wahlberg in Pain and Gain, blew up, completely blew up in a short amount of time. I think it took 3 months for him to gain. I think it was like 40 or 50 pounds.
Yeah,
and most of that was muscle.
He got thick.
In 3 months. So you're telling me, all right, let's take 10 pounds was fat, and then you put on 30 to 40 pounds of muscle in 3 months. Do you know how hard that is at his age to do that?
Yeah.
That seems a little fishy. Hugh Jackman, another one for the Wolverine, Days of Future Past, extremely cut.
Oh.
Extremely cut.
Right.
And still big and still strong. There's videos of him prepping for these roles, and he's deadlifting well over 400 pounds. He's benching close to 300 pounds. Like, that's just crazy, dude. That is just insane. To be 50-something years old and still doing that seems fishy.
Right.
To me. Now, whether they're taking steroids or not, it could be, hormone replacement therapy, which I heard is very popular for men that are getting older and still want to, make gains and things like that. But I think that should be known. I think it should be known 100%. The studio or the actors themselves should come out and say, listen, this is what I did. This is exactly what I did to get ready for this role. I did use hormone replacement therapy. I'd use these supplements that aren't available to the public, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Again, this is up to speculation. I'm not taking away from the hard work and dedication these actors put into their roles, but it just doesn't seem natural.
Right.
In my opinion.
Again, like I'm on your side. I'm like it seems like it's not possible,
right?
At least to us,
right? Because we don't have the resources that these guys have.
Right.
So that's another but again, this is why this topic is so controversial, because these guys have unbelievable resources at their disposal,
right? And
we don't. You know what I mean?
But it's also too, like there's so many people that are our age or even younger.
Right.
They look at Hugh Jackman, they look at all these big actors, and they just immediately assume steroids is the answer.
Right.
Like that's the thing I hate about when people do that. It's because kind of like what you said. I'm not gonna discredit them for putting in the hard work.
Right.
And putting in the time. Like even if they do have a team of nutritionists and people, personal trainers, that's still a lot of time dedicated within one day.
Right.
And then they're big Hollywood stars, so their day is filled.
Right.
Like they have to take at least 3 hours out of the day just to go and work out and eat the proper things.
Right.
Probably have meetings once a week and follow up, appointments and stuff. And it's
definitely,
so that's one thing I wanted to say, where it's like, I definitely don't want to discredit.
No,
anybody.
yeah, of course not. And like I'm not saying outright like these guys are on steroids and
right.
they don't work hard.
There's too many people that are just ignorant at the idea that they just don't know.
Right.
How much is put into it.
Right.
And like you're not just gonna take a pill or shoot up and work out for a week and look the way you want to look.
You're gonna be a mass monster, right, and everyone's gonna be scared of you. That's not how it works. But and I'm not saying these guys are outright taking steroids. All I'm saying is at their age, their transformations, the way they look year round, it just doesn't seem natural. It very well could be. They could just be gifted genetically and talented. You know what I mean? God just graced them with these gifts. But like again, it just doesn't seem natural, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're on steroids. I'm not saying it's at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't mean shit. It's up to you guys. But I will say this about one particular actor, The Rock.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, I think he is 100% taking some sort of performance-enhancing drug. He's 48 years old, and it seems like every time I see an Instagram post or a video interview or a video of him working out, he's bigger and more lean. I swear to God, if you look at the transformation from when he stopped wrestling and went into movies, like the Game Plan,
right? He's
not that big. Like
he still looks great.
Oh, he looks great.
Still looks great.
Looks great. He's not that big though, like in terms of what he looks like now.
Right.
Which tells me right then and there that when he was with WWE, he was definitely taking shit because he just deflated after. You could tell. If you look at the before and after, he deflates. Now he's getting older. He's leaner. He's bigger, and he's stronger than he ever has been before. At 48 years old, to me, that's fishy as hell. Again, not taken away from the hard work and dedication this guy puts in. He travels with the gym. He has a home gym. He works out 2 to 3 times a day. He eats unbelievably well. But with all of that, I do not think you can attain that physique naturally. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's very controversial.
Very, very. And again, like it's all up to interpretation. It's speculation. I could be very wrong. He could be natural and again just be gifted with these unbelievable genetics. In my opinion, though, this guy is taking something, or he's doing something that is not public knowledge that we don't know about. And if that's the case, come out, because I want to get on whatever the fuck you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to weigh in on that?
Not really.
Yeah, no, I came out kind of strong with that accusation there. But again, like I said, I'm not taking away from this guy's hard work, and I do admire The Rock a ton.
Yeah,
I have
he's my, role model, so I don't want to talk about it.
I have some of his Under Armour clothing line shit. You know what I mean? Like I like The Rock a lot. I think he's a good guy as well. He doesn't have a bad bone in his body.
It's strange too, because we're talking about Hollywood and actors getting prepared for their roles physically, with a certain physique in mind.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like the thing you have to do
Yeah.
if you're in a franchise or a studio film.
Right.
But you can go back and, just at the top of my head, Stallone in the Rocky movies.
Right. I would say he's like a pioneer of the physical transformation.
Probably, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, in terms of transformation with eyes on you, yeah, because you look at Rocky, he's nowhere near what he looks like in Rocky 4.
Rocky 4, he's shredded to the gills.
Right. But then, like, you can look at Arnold, and he was obviously a professional bodybuilder.
And he was on
steroids. He was on steroids.
He was on steroids.
Turned into an actor.
Right.
So it was like, Stallone, you can look at it and be a little bit more, see the arc in it a little bit more. But even look at him now. I think he's 70.
He's in his 70s.
And from what I've seen within the last maybe 3 to 5 years of him posting or him on the internet,
he still looks pretty
damn good, man. Like, he came out with a movie like The Bullet or Into the Head or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What, like maybe 8-10 years ago?
And he looked good.
Yeah, he looks incredible at 60-something years old. Like,
yeah, and I think last year he came out with Rambo: Last Blood, which I heard was absolutely awful, but he still looked pretty fucking good.
Right.
And in The Expendables, he looked good.
Yeah, right.
And like he's probably in like his mid to late 60s in those movies, but still, to be that age and to look that good, again, it just doesn't seem natural, and that's why people are constantly talking about it and having these discussions.